Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Casterbarus.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a doctor, but I am.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you expect.
Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Big on the Inside, the New Who Doctor Who Watched On podcast. Harry, that's the last time those words will ever be said. Are you filled with sadness and tears?
Yeah, I'm really sad that the phrase, hello, everybody, welcome back to Big on the Inside, the New Who Doctor Who Watched On podcast will never be said again.
Oh, well, we've both said it now. I feel like it's... I was actually working on
I was very salty about the fact that Tim wanted to say that, because I've always been saying it for like the latter half of this podcast, and Tim wanted to steal the glory at the final moment.
Well, I just feel like it's not my podcast, it's our podcast.
It is your podcast. It is your podcast. I'm being petty.
Thank you.
It is your podcast. You're welcome.
Do we have lots of news, Harry?
We have lots of news, lots of Doctor Who news, lots of barely Doctor Who news, and lots of stuff that's not Doctor Who news at all.
Hurrah!
Firstly, we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to start with what's perhaps one of the biggest and most recent bits of news, which has Chris Chibannls, in a recent interview with the Radio Times, has said they expect Russell T Davies to ignore the changes he's made to Doctor Who. And I think it's important to kind of cover this, because I feel like this is something that loads of people are going to take out of context and misconstrue and change the meaning of it without actually looking at the article.
Here's the thing now, I think about this, is that KSI is a really nice guy, but the fact that those shoes sold out, there's that new Adidas trainers that KSI made, the fact that they sold out in 24 hours is just ridiculous. What do you think?
Tim, what's this got to do with... Tim, why are you talking about KSI?
Well, he did that tweet, didn't he? That said, man's got his own shoes, limited edition Adidas originals from available April the 8th, UK only. And they've just all gone like that. It's ridiculous.
Oh, right. Wait, so no, Tim, what's this got to do with Chris Chibannls and Doctor Who?
Did you just call me Tom?
Did I?
I feel like you called me Tom for a second.
I don't know any Toms.
I felt like bringing back the KSI interruption joke. I might bring it back later.
Oh, okay, so you were just bullshitting with me. I thought you had an actual point to make. You said that with such kind of confidence and as if it meant something, that I was convinced for a moment that it did mean something. But I realized I was misinformed.
So that's the best one I've done.
It is, because it actually threw me.
Okay.
And I'm sure our listeners are going to hate this. There's going to be so many comments being like, they don't talk about Doctor Who, talk about fucking Doctor Who already.
Okay, go on. Well, I'm trying to think of other recurring jokes on the podcast I could bring up, but we'll maybe wait for some. Maybe Mr. Bean will make an appearance.
Anyway, apparently Chibannls was in a reflective mood when he caught up with the Radio Times, looking back on his time making the show, as well as the sometimes controversial changes he made to Doctor Who lore. He said the following: "You're not carrying a vase across the room. You've got to get in there and say what you want about the show, the character, and the world. It's one of the few drama series without a written Bible, and every era contains a contradiction or left turn from what has come before. Any future showrunner will ignore it or run with it." And which led to him saying about Russell, "Oh, I fully expect Russell to ignore it," in reference to what he did with his series.
Yeah, I probably will. The same way Stephen ignored everything that Russell did. Chris ignored everything Stephen did.
Yeah. Well, I know Moffat literally we've watched through series 5, and he did a few kind of minor retcons to Russell's series. Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, he just did his own thing. It was kind of a soft reboot in a way, which it kind of always is.
What's interesting with what Chris said, he just said that there's no Bible. And that's quite interesting when you look at a lot of TV shows, especially sitcoms, they have a show Bible, and obviously soap operas here in the UK as well, stuff like he said, as where it's a big book or document that literally labels every character and everything they've ever done, their relatives, who they've married, who they've divorced, and things like that, so that you can keep on track of that. But with stuff with like Doctor Who, you'd be here for
Yeah.
hours.
It's because I know that Russell, when he initially brought the show back, he made, I don't know if it was a Bible, but he definitely made kind of like there was a big document. I don't know if that was just like his pitch document, because I know that's a separate thing to a show Bible, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I have heard this as well. I think he did have something where it was like what he wanted to include in it. But yeah, a show Bible is more for the benefit of a writer to keep up to tracks with what they've written or wrote.
Yeah.
So,
I really want to read that document that Russell made when he, like, back in 2004. I think it would be so interesting to read.
It'd be
I just don't know if
interesting.
it's publicly available.
It'd be interesting because I'd like to see what he kept and what he changed. For like instance, I know like very early drafts, it was meant to be 2 companions. But it was going to be called something like Rose and Lily or something like that, which is obviously very corny. But yeah, cool.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to the rest of the stuff?
Let's do the rest of the stuff.
So first of all, here's an article that Tim sent me, which isn't about Doctor Who, other than it's Matt Smith talking, but I know exactly why Tim sent this to me. Basically, Matt Smith, in a recent interview, I assume for Morbius, was asked of all different universities he's been in, Doctor Who, Terminator, now Spider-Man, which was his favorite. And his response was, let's see, where is the line? This is the one. Here it is. He said, "Oh gosh, what's my favorite fictional world? Alan Partridge, I think."
He's got a,
Yeah,
I love
and he
Alan
elaborated.
Partridge.
I mean, I love Alan Partridge. I didn't know Matt Smith was involved with Alan Partridge.
Yes, he was in this time the one show style series. He had it was like his first TV role in a long time. Like
The very recent one that Coogan did, the really recent one.
Yeah.
I need to watch that. What's
It's
Matt Smith doing it?
He pops up in one episode. He plays like this character that I think he's like a businessman who Partridge tries to interrogate and sort of get gossip out of an information, but Matt Smith's character just very quickly shuts him down.
With stuff like Matt Smith in that show, and obviously David Tennant and Joy Moffat being in Meet the Richardsons, do you think they have to like have any kind of audition process, or do you think they're like so big at that point that's beyond just a British TV show, they're always approached for it?
Well, I don't know. I think about it like when I make stuff, I cast you in it, but not to undermine your ego. I cast you because I know you and I like working with you. Almost your acting ability, this might sound quite harsh, has nothing to do with it because I just know you can do it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if I were to make something and cast either David Tennant or Matt Smith in it, I wouldn't audition them because I know what they can do, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like it would almost undermine them to say, "Oh, you need to
I
audition
would feel
for
like
it"?
such a dick to go, "Yeah, I'd like to come in, but I want you to audition for this role." I feel like something with Morbius
as
maybe.
well, or something.
Something like Morbius, I think like Matt Smith might have had to audition for that. But something like Partridge, it's like a 5-minute role sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I think that like, well, I don't know. I feel like with the big studio stuff, they always all have like loads of names they have lined up. And I know that like for stuff like the Star Wars films, obviously there were big names who were turned down from them. I remember reading something about a certain actor who was turned down for a role of like Kylo or Finn or something. I can't remember who it was now.
I saw Tom
That's
Holland
annoying.
was turned down for Finn.
That's it. Tom Holland was turned down for the role of Finn.
Probably
Imagine
for
a
the best.
world where Tom Holland. Imagine a world where Tom Holland was Finn and John Boyega was Spider-Man.
John Boyega's quite like a hefty dude. You know what I mean? He's very stocky. I feel like that wouldn't really work as a Spooderman.
Okay, you think you need someone with a slender build?
What came
for
out first?
Spider-Man?
No Way Home. Sorry, what came out first? Civil War or
The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens came out before Civil War.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Force Awakens was 2015, man.
Oh wow. Sorry.
It's been 7 years since The Force Awakens.
Holy shit.
Well, 6. 6 years.
Oh well.
December 2015.
That was a good time, wasn't it?
That was it genuinely was a really good time. I went to a packed cinema.
What did you do? Did you stand up and whoop?
I didn't whoop or cheer, but there's this one kid behind me who was really excited about every piece of iconography. He was like, he was like, it's a Star Destroyer. It's an 8080. And then when the Millennium Falcon appeared, he was like, the Millennium Falcon, Mum, it's the Millennium Falcon.
What did his
And
mum
then
say?
when Han Solo first appeared, it was actually my mum that got excited.
Fair enough. I remember when I went to see it, there was this is before the film, before any of the trailers. There was a woman walked in with her Tango Ice Blast and she bent over and it dribbled and she went, "Oh, I'm dribbling," and I just under my breath, but obviously loud enough for everybody else in the movie theater to hear it, just said, "Oh, well, it happens the older you get," and the whole cinema erupted in laughter.
Was that the highlight of your life, Tim? Was that your peak?
That's when I got bitten by the acting bug, Harry, and I knew from that day forward I had to be centre spotlight.
Yeah, and that's why you've done just so much acting. Like in Tim, have you ever acted in anything?
Not anything I've ever done, not intentionally.
No, you're always the last resort, aren't you?
Yeah, like literally, there was a point today where me and Harry are filming something tomorrow, and one of the actors isn't available. And I was reading the script today, and I thought, oh, I could do this, but then I just asked the person who was sat opposite me at the table if they wanted to do it instead, and they said, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we did film something once where I could have been in it, but instead did we put a mustache on you, or we made you look like two separate characters? It was when
that was the thing. That was because it was like two twins. No, we weren't twins. Well, I was playing twins who belonged to different studios or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that was such a good idea, but I never finished it.
Was it like just like the special effect was too difficult? Or
I think so. I think it didn't really work on it. I think we could probably do it now, but I feel like that moment's gone because what it was
about the Henry Cavill mustache thing, wasn't it?
It was one executive from Sony and one executive from Warner Brothers, but they're twin brothers, and they're arguing over if Henry Cavill's going to keep his mustache or not.
Yeah,
I've seen them go to court.
So, do you want to move to the next bit, Doctor Who news?
Yeah, might as well.
This is a bit about Series 14. Ooh, exciting. Jane Tranter from Bad Wolf has said that Doctor Who Series 14 will go into production later this year. They
That's
declined to reveal.
surprising.
Do you think so? I mean, I assume the 60th would go into production this year, but I guess the series alongside it. I wonder if it's all been done as what do they call it, like a filming block?
Yeah.
Maybe the 60th and Series 14 will be filmed together in the same block.
Well, you normally find like a series is split up into like 2 or 3 blocks, so you might have the 60th and part
Maybe
1.
like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I don't know, I'm assuming was Dave the Doctor filmed as a separate block to Series 7B?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just as a special.
Right, I see. Is that how they usually do the specials? Well, I don't know.
But I believe I don't know. I think that year was a bit different because there was the 2 specials. There was the Christmas one and Day of the Doctor.
Yeah. Because I think of stuff like The Runaway Bride, and The Runaway Bride feels like it's the same production block as the start of Series 3.
Yeah, I think you find they are now. A lot of the specials we've had at the moment have all been filmed along with the series.
Yeah, because they always have like, the promos at the end and such.
Yeah, it's true, actually,
Yeah. There's not much really other than knowing that the series is in production. There's a bit of a quote from someone called Garvey. I can't see what their first name is, but just about it's just a very industry thing about how independent production companies have an advantage over streaming services.
Yeah.
Because writers and producers can put a show together before taking it to networks.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what any of that is about.
Say that again.
I don't know if here's the quote. I can't tell if it is Garvey or Tranter saying it because it doesn't say, but it says, those streamer deals feel restrictive and don't allow talent to work with the best producers or directors. They pay well, but don't necessarily give the creative freedom. Every time a writer sits in front of a computer screen with a blank page, they're putting themselves on the line. And sometimes that fear drives us creatively to be the best of ourselves.
So what they're saying is, if you work with something like Netflix or Amazon Prime, you're not getting the same creative freedom you do if you work for someone like the BBC.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know if that's exactly true, because I feel like the BBC has a style, ITV, they all have their own styles. You couldn't.
So I know there's like.
You couldn't put something like Friday Night Dinner on In Between Us on BBC Two. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, I do notice that stuff like, especially when it comes to like the drama, like BBC has almost like a house style.
Yeah.
And like especially if you look back in certain eras, you look at something like, say, like Life on Mars is very much looks like other BBC dramas like 2005 Doctor Who and such. They kind of all have a similar look to them.
They do.
I guess it's because
when we get into recommendations, we can talk about it a bit more. But I'm watching something on Netflix at the moment, and my only criticism of it really is it looks like a Netflix show.
Right, I know what you mean, because I've seen a few Netflix shows, and there is a certain. I don't know if it's like the color grading or just the camera work being quite standardized, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's one last quote from Garvey. I still can't figure out who Garvey is.
I recognize,
but he said that.
Might be she.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I can't see. Wayne Garvey. They're from Sony Pictures Television, who obviously now own Bad Wolf.
Yeah.
And Garvey has said, "We want to be the biggest drama studio in Britain." That's quite a statement.
What about Bad Wolf?
About Bad Wolf. They want Bad Wolf to be the biggest drama studio in the UK.
Cool, brilliant. So it should be, I think. They seem to be doing good stuff.
I mean, I feel like it would make sense if because I feel like, at least when it comes to international exports, that Doctor Who is kind of one of, if not the biggest international export when it comes to British drama. Outside of obviously stuff like, well, not anymore, but Downton Abbey. And I don't know, is Peaky Blinders a big international export?
I feel like it is a little bit, but not massive. Could be completely wrong.
Yeah. But it feels like Doctor Who should be at least amongst those ranks, if not slightly more, you know?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
it was at one period, like the Moffat era, like back when Doctor Who and Sherlock are like the biggest things ever.
Yeah, I'm just looking on
So
the
it's
Bad Wolf
definitely attainable.
website to try and see what other productions they've done. But the
It
website,
is Dark Materials.
this was
That's
dark.
what I know
His
they did.
Dark Materials: A Discovery of Witches. I Hate Susie.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Uh,
My girlfriend just nodded about that.
About
What's the
what?
Discovery of Witches? What is it? Oh, apparently it's great.
Oh, there we go.
What's it about? Just witches
We
being
all get
discovered?
it. Harry's got a girlfriend.
Oh.
Tell us on the podcast.
Is that- Oh yeah, my
Just really
my-
smug. My girlfriend nodded her head. Oh, did she, Harry? Well done.
But the reason I said that with your name being known amongst like 100 Doctor Who fans, Erin. I'll call her Erin. Her name's Erin.
Is that
I'm
her
just like Jack's films kin.
I like the fact we had a running joke when we started this, which is we'll stop doing a podcast when we get a girlfriend. But then the juxtaposition was who gets a girlfriend when they do a Doctor Who podcast.
But then we both ended up getting a girlfriend at pretty much the exact same time.
Hurrah! That 2-for-1 offer really worked out.
2 for 1. Yes, you went to the girlfriend store.
Let's move on. What else do we have, Harry?
Yeah. Sure, that's a very good time to move on. The next thing. Oh no, I closed the messenger thing.
Oh,
Stephen Moffat. It's Stephen Moffat.
what about him?
He said that he's never gonna come back to Doctor Who.
Some people will applaud Harry. Some people will sigh sadness. Where do you fall on this line?
Well, let's read his quote first. I did it for 6 seasons on the trot, and I cannot imagine going back into doing that. I cannot. I
don't know why that was so
cannot.
funny. I don't know why. For a brief second, I thought you said I did it for 6 seasons, like whilst I had the trots.
What are the trots?
Like when you're not very well, and maybe you're a bit sick out of one end rather than the other. Like, oh, he's got the
Aaron
trots.
was to me the shits.
Yeah.
Have the shit. The quote goes on. I loved the show. I don't want anyone to think I didn't love the show. I loved every second I spent on it, although some of them were hellish. I've done that. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this response was in Steven's mind about him returning as showrunner. But I still think that if the opportunity came for him to return just as a writer for an episode under Russell, I think he'd do that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he'll be asked.
I think Russell should ask because there's like, Empty Child, Blink, Silence in the Library, and Forest of the Dead. Those are some of like the best ever Doctor Who stories. Like Empty Child, Dr. Nance is amongst one of my favorite ever Doctor Who stories. So I feel like that conversation is going to be had, at least, if it's not already been had.
Yeah, what I found really interesting about that actually is I remember seeing an interview with Russell and Steven where the guy interviewing them said, I think it was a Radio Times thing, said, do you still come with Doctor Who ideas? And Russell like instantly said no. He said, once I left, that was it. I don't think of new ideas anymore. And Steven was like, yeah, all the time. I look at a kettle and I'm like, that's a good monster or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, so the fact that he's the one who doesn't seem to want to come back is odd.
Yeah. But I think, he'll appear
back
in some shape or form. I just have a feeling.
Maybe he's the 14th Doctor.
Stephen Moffat is the 14th Doctor.
I think it would work.
Yeah. Like, what if the TARDIS was a sexy? Oh wait, they already did that. I was literally about to joke about what if the TARDIS was a sexy woman, but I remember that Neil Gaiman did that, so never mind.
Moving on, Harold. What else do we have?
This one seems like kind of low-key, pretty huge news that BBC Sounds are making a new Doctor Who spin-off series called Doctor Who Redacted. I can't tell what this is.
I'm excited for this.
Is it an audio drama? Is it a podcast?
It's a podcast. It's a scripted podcast.
Okay.
So imagine if we were written to be as nerdy as we are. It's like that, but in the world of Doctor Who. It's like a conspiracy podcast, a conspiracy theory podcast in the world of Doctor Who about the TARDIS. And
it's not just is that not just an audio drama?
It's a Big Finish.
Is it a Big Finish?
It's not Big Finish, but it's a Big Finish.
Yeah, and this is the weird thing because obviously it stars Jodie Whittaker playing the Doctor. And it has other characters such as Kate Stewart, Osgood, Madame Vastra, and it's like so, and some of which have appeared in Big Finish, but this itself isn't Big Finish. This is BBC. Can the BBC do that? Can the BBC just make audio? But I thought Big Finish had the license to do that. Can the BBC just do that anyway?
I guess because
Big Finish.
Maybe they get around of it by it being a podcast.
It seems weird. Like, what if this does really well, and then the BBC decide, oh, we should just do all this ourselves now? Would that be the end of Big Finish?
I doubt it. But you left out one character there who's returning, which is Rani from the Sarah Jane Adventures, which is the first time since that show ended that any character from that has reappeared in any medium, really.
Interesting. It's been a MCU, dare I say.
But I'm looking forward to this.
Is this the start? Pardon?
I'm looking forward to it. It's the first episode comes out straight after Legends of the Sea Devils, I think.
I'm guessing this whole series will have been made and wrapped up before Jodie's regeneration.
I would have thought so. I don't think it will tie into that at all.
No, it seems like it's its own thing. Yeah,
it's not written by Chris. And I think coming up in a minute, we've got a news article where Jodie speaks about returning to the Doctor after her regeneration, before the regeneration's even aired.
Yeah, there's a quote. Yeah, let me just find that because that's the next article you sent me, which is a quote from Jodie, just talking about playing the Doctor again and also playing the Doctor under a different voice, like as in a different writer's voice who isn't Chris, which she's used to.
Yeah.
Let me just find it.
Slick. We're slick. It's our like final episode of Doctor Who stuff. We're on the ball.
Yeah,
We've got this.
Transition here, there, everywhere, all over the shop.
A year and a half we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Is it really a year and a half now?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, I've got the quote from Jodie.
Go on.
It was wonderful to be a part of, and great for me to revisit the character, having not really done anything apart from ADR since October. I think the Doctor Who fans, they'll really love the adventure. It's ace. Ace.
It's
anyway, she also...
Martha Jones.
Pardon? My God. It's got enough for Whovians, but it's also got enough for people visiting it for the first time. It never loses that wonderful Doctor Who identity, which makes it unique, but also never excludes.
Who's doing that? Whose first venture into Doctor Who is going to be this? I want to know who that person is who goes, oh, I've heard a lot about this. I think the way for me to approach it is by this podcast series.
Maybe someone who like doesn't have a telly, but still pays for their TV license and therefore has access to BBC Sounds.
What a strange person.
I don't think that, and they choose not to use iPlayer, where literally all Doctor Who is. Also, speaking about whether it was hard to portray a Doctor, just doing it audio, she said, absolutely not. No, it was fine. I don't know if it will ever leave me. Like I immediately start speaking at 100 miles per hour. I think she, Juno, the writer, wrote me really brilliantly. I'm used to Chris's voice being everything I've done as the Doctor, so it was really interesting to have someone else's version of my Doctor, and it felt completely natural.
Do you think somewhere out there, Nicholas? Do you think somewhere out there, Nicholas Briggs is just gently sobbing?
But Nicholas Briggs hasn't written for Jodie yet.
No, but he runs Big Finish, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. I feel like as soon as the chance comes up for Big Finish to do Jodie stories, Jodie will be all over that.
Well, they'll be all over it. We'll have to see if she does it. I feel like she will. If she does this already.
She already does so much as kind of the incumbent Doctor, stuff like she does all those video games and like Time Fracture. I know her voice is used heavily in that.
Yeah.
I feel like, she'd will it. I mean, guessing she doesn't just do it because she's contractually obligated to. I mean, I'm assuming she is, but you get the vibe that she's really enjoyed being a Doctor. It's been a positive experience for her, so I imagine she'll be eager to go back to it.
It's nice for us once to talk about the idea that a past Doctor might actually like to return and do audio adventures for a change.
What do you mean? Do you not think that Matt or Peter like the idea? Well, we know Peter doesn't intend to return to Doctor Who anytime soon, do we?
But of course, Chris does do it, doesn't he? Chris does it. I was thinking about Peter and Chris. Yeah, I completely forgot Chris returned.
Yeah, Chris is doing it. Most recently, it almost sounds as if Chris would be willing to return to the show itself,
When did he? Oh, yeah, he did he? But early on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's cheered me up. Harry, what else do we have? I'm very conscious
we
that we have a lot of news to get through today.
Yeah, we have the final bit of Doctor Who news, which is... Yeah, well, no, because I feel like we'll still be Doctor Who centric at least next week because Sea Devils will have come out.
Yeah.
Well, you're just not planning to watch Doctor Who ever again?
Nah, never again.
Oh, fairs. But anyway, basically, someone asked Stephen Moffat about something in Series 5, the series we just did, All Comes Around. And basically, someone asked Stephen about the fact that as the Doctor runs through the town in the 11th hour, he asks Amy what the empty pond is there for, and he makes a pointed comment that it's called a duck pond, but there have never been any ducks in it. And the answer from Stephen was that they intended to resolve the mystery of the ducks by saying There are lots of inconsistencies in Amy Pond's life. The ducks have gone through the crack. The last shot of the show was meant to be the TARDIS in the town centre as Amy and Roy rush in. The TARDIS materialises and we see ducks on the duck pond. That was meant to be it. But they didn't do that because the weather was really bad.
Fair enough. I feel that's something you could have done in CG though very quickly.
I mean, I don't know. This is 2010. I think CGI fluff ducks might have been a bit difficult.
You could have sent someone to that duck pond on a nice day, got them to take a picture, CGI'd the TARDIS materialising, and also some CGI ducks.
Again, 2010 BBC CGI. I don't think they have the budget to do convincing ducks.
Okay. If I ever go to that duck pond, I will recreate it. That's a challenge.
You're gonna make that shot.
Yeah.
Forget all these kind of lost Doctor Who episode recreations. You're gonna remake the duck pond shot.
I think we've got a title for this week's episode though.
What's that?
The ducks are in the crack.
The ducks are in the crack. Oh wait, I need to say it all clickbaity. The ducks are in the crack.
There you go.
I get arrested. Non-sexual, not clickbait.
This might actually be this week's video because it would be hilarious. Massive Doctor Who question finally answered.
Yeah. Tim, if we're doing that, do your Mr. Bean voice just to annoy the people who click on the video.
Doggy.
All right, do we want to move on to some non-Doctor Who news?
Yes, please.
We've got another one of these, literally, like this weird fictional podcast thing. I've never heard of it, and now we're getting two at once. Apparently, there's also going to be a Batman one on Spotify called Batman Unburied.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's going to star Black Panther's Winston Duke as Batman. I don't know who he played in Black Panther. I watched Black Panther like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out, but I couldn't now tell you what happened in it.
Yeah, it also has, there's actually some pretty big names in it. There's also Jason Isaacs as Alfred.
Oh, cool.
Gina Rodriguez as Barbara Gordon, Lance Reddick as Thomas Rain, John Rhys Davies as Dr. Hunter. I don't know who Dr. Hunter is. And Hassan Minhaj as the Riddler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
there must be popular,
that's
these like, in-world podcast series. They must be picking up.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Marvel haven't done something like this because that's just the type of thing that like MCU would do, isn't it?
Yeah, I know Stranger Things did one over lockdown. It was Robin from Stranger Things Series 3, who Steve works at the Scoops Ahoy with.
All right.
Yeah, but an MCU one would be quite cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be cool for MCU fans. I'm not one.
Ned.
But yeah.
Ned's podcast.
I would unironically adore a Ned podcast. Ned is like, no joke, my favorite character in the MCU.
Is he doing it as Ned about Spider-Man? Or is
yes.
But does he go by the name Ned on the podcast, or does he have like a pseudonym?
He has like an online name, doesn't he? He'd have like because like Mr. Sunday Movies is his name. What would Ned's? Yeah.
Yeah. Sidekick Spider or Spider Sidekick or
Spidekick.
Spidekick. I feel that would be actual dialogue you'd see in the movie. It'd be Peter Parker and Ned.
And your Spider-Man sidekick, your Spidekick. And then they do a whole bit about how that's really bad, and he'd keep trying to do it, and Zendaya would be like, Ned, stop trying to make Spidekick a thing.
The actress Zendaya.
Well, Zendaya playing MJ.
What, both of them?
They're both in the movie.
Okay, I like it.
Zendaya would be playing both herself, Zendaya, and she would be playing MJ.
So wait. Is this a movie that is now coming out before the podcast to sell the podcast?
I don't know. I stopped paying attention to what I was saying like a minute ago. I'm surprised you're still following.
No, it's interesting. So this is a podcast hosted by Ned, who goes under the name Spidekick,
Yes.
But to make sure the podcast is a success, there is a movie that comes out before the podcast release that is a behind the sort of set within the set of Spider-Man, where they are filming a scene where where Ned and Peter Parker are talking about the idea of a podcast. The character of MJ hates the idea. They cut the scene, and then Zendaya announces that she hates the idea of the podcast.
Okay.
Cool.
Right. That's would even MCU fans follow that?
That was this week's episode. That was this week's video right there.
I thought we were doing the duck pond.
Yeah, I like this one though.
Okay, are you going to do 2 videos?
Maybe, just to annoy everybody.
All right. Next bit of news. Christopher Nolan has an insane cast for his new movie Oppenheimer.
He does, pardon me.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm having some Pepsi Max.
I see.
Yeah, carry on, sorry.
But this film Oppenheimer involves Christian Bale, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Devon Bostic, Matt Damon, Rami Malek, Benny Safdie, Josh Peck, Dane DeHaan, Jack Quaid, and Alden Ehrenreich. That's a lot of famouses.
Han Solo meets Freddie Mercury at last.
Oh, I had to make it. You had to make it pop culture, didn't you?
Well, think about what the movie poster is going to be. It's going to be Batman in the middle with his arms out like, I don't know. And then either side, there'll be Freddie Mercury and Han Solo like, why you order?
This is literally the top Twitter comment.
Is it? Is it actually?
Yes, literally. Wait, Scarecrow, Mary Poppins, Jack, Black Widow, Iron Man, Roderick Heffley, Jason Bourne, Freddie Mercury, Josh Nichols, Green Goblin, Ghostface, and Han Solo were all going to be in a Noah movie. What the fuck is this movie? Apologies to Ballistics. I'm sure you have a nicer voice than that.
But I'm also pretty sure that there will be people out there who think that's what the movie is.
Well, it's like the thing of like, I remember like when Marriage Story came out and the trailer, there were so many people being like, oh my God, Black Widow and Kylo Ren are having an argument. Like, no, these are people. These aren't just pop culture icons. These aren't just pop vinyls.
Yeah.
These are actors.
Oh, well. I'm looking forward to it though. Christopher Nolan, great. We
loved Tenet, didn't we?
I was going to say, we weren't big fans of TNT or whatever that movie was called. But I'm looking forward to this. I wonder what weird time element it's going to throw into this one, though. There's always a weird time thing.
It's called Oppenheimer. I'm assuming like it's about Oppenheimer, like a family with like one of those rich jewel families or something.
I have no idea.
Wait, let me look up. I've heard the name Oppenheimer, and I feel like I'm really dumb for not knowing what Oppenheimer is.
I'm also Googling it, Harry.
J. Robert Oppenheimer was an American theoretical physicist who was the professor of physics at the University of California, Berkeley.
I think.
He created the atomic bomb. My apologies.
Not a watch.
No, Oppenheimer. It's about the conception of the atomic bomb, I assume.
Yeah,
so,
he'll do something to do with time. He did it with Dunkirk, so he'll do it with this.
Yeah, I feel like this. I don't know. I'm assuming this won't be like a actiony film, though, will it? Because like,
I don't know, but I've just remembered a very funny story about Dunkirk. I won't say this person's name. They don't listen to the podcast, but all I'll say to you to describe this person is actually, no, you know who it is. We've got a friend of mine went and saw Dunkirk when it came out, and she really only saw it because it had Harry Styles in it.
I think I know who this is. Yeah.
And then this person for Christmas bought mine and Harry's mutual friend bought this person Dunkirk on DVD but full well knowing it wasn't the movie Dunkirk. It was like some BBC 3-part miniseries from 10 years ago about the events of the actual war. Not the blockbuster movie. And I'm just like, why would you do that?
Maybe she got really into like World War II history after seeing the movie.
Perhaps.
We don't know.
Dear me. Oh well.
I think we have one more bit of news. Let me just find it because people are messaging me. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm so popular.
Is it your mum?
No, it isn't actually. It's actual. Oh, it's there's two more things. Okay, I'm gonna skip the last one because it's literally Sam Raimi was asked if he do Spider-Man 4. And he's like, yeah, sure, if Toby wants to. I think we both want Spider-Man 4. We don't need to talk more about that, do we?
No.
So we'll talk about Jared Leto. And this is about how when playing the role of Morbius, who I don't know if is more, I believe the character of Morbius for a lot of the movie is on crutches, and apparently he needed a wheelchair to be wheelchaired to the toilet for toilet breaks because of his method acting.
Well, what I read originally is I wanted to talk to you about this actually because you are an actor.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, you're not a method actor.
No, I'm not.
So I saw Morbius, and we spoke about it last week. Bag of shit. I can't understand why you would method act for something this bad. And what type of person do you have to be? Someone had to push him around in a wheelchair. That was someone's job. And when he went to the bathroom, was he still in character, or did they have to help him go to the bathroom?
This is a quote from the director saying, I think that what Jared believes is that somehow the pain of those movements, even when he was playing normal Michael Morbius, he needed, because he's been having this pain his whole life. Even though, as he's alive and strong, it has to be a difference. Hey man, it's people's processes. All the actors believe in processes. And you as a director, you support whatever makes it as good as you can be. It's not that I think the directors don't like actors get really frustrated about it. I think it's really mysterious what they do. Almost all actors in general have their own reputation of being an interesting person, how he works with their characters. I think that all of them have these traits. If you want a completely normal person that does only things that you understand, then you're in the wrong business, because what's different is what makes them tick. So directors seem completely cool with, Jared Leto using this process, because it's whatever helps the actor get into a character, I guess.
But I know, like, since this, there's been other actors that have come out, like Mads Mikkelsen was like, nah, shit, don't do it. I think he even said, like, why would you go method for something that bad? And then I just
they didn't know it was going to be poorly received when they were working on it, did they?
No, but it's like,
you can't go into a project thinking this is going to be shit, so I won't try. Like, you have to give it 100%, no matter what.
But it's like, even his performance in it, he's just like charisma sucking. I know, like we're slightly different.
Like a vampire, maybe that's what he's going
very
for.
Good, very good. But just like, I don't understand the idea of. I just like I get it if you want to embody the character and stuff. Like, me and you were working on something at the moment that we're filming tomorrow, and I still haven't sent you the lines, and I'm going to do it this evening.
Okay, I believe you.
And it's one of those things where it's like, as a director, I will listen to the music and I'll get in a feel for that character for the day's shooting, so I'm in the right mindset. Do you know what I mean? But once you've all left and I've dropped you, even as soon as the camera stopped rolling, I'm out of it. And when I'm taking you home or whatever, that's it. I'm not director anymore. You're not Michael, the character. Do you know what I mean? You're not. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow your own trumpet, but I think your performance in my thing is better than Jared Leto's performance in Morbius.
I'm better. Oh my god, I'm better than Jared Leto.
Oh, come on,
did you hear that? I'm better than Jared Leto. Can you believe it? I'm so proud. Oh my god. Can like I put that on like I don't have a website or anything, but if I got a website, could I put that I'm better than Jared Leto?
If you next time you're like in a play or something, and you want a review for the poster, you could use that.
Better than Jared. Okay, I will do. Thank you, Tim.
Harry Murdoch shines in a performance that's better than Jared Leto in Sony's blockbuster Morbius.
No, you can't specify Morbius.
Oh, okay, it's better than Jared Leto in general.
Yeah, because then like people could project any like movie that Jared
Okay.
Leto's in.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Take your word for it.
So that wraps up what's felt like a lot of news this week.
It was good. I like it. I like it when we get a lot of news.
Do you?
A little bit, yeah. It's more fun.
To be fair, there's been a good haul of news, but now we're going to talk about the very final watch along segment.
Yay. I'm so glad. Should we do a jig? Do we have a funny name this week, Harry?
I like what I said to you. Haha, Doctor Go Boom.
Okay. I think I wrote down a funny name actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Is it funnier than haha, Doctor Go Boom?
I just called it the larger than larger repercussion sound caused by an event featured in this episode of Doctor Who, or Rory, or Rory the Simp.
Is that what you said? Is that's interesting?
Okay.
Let's go to the jingles.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut it down, pop up!
What's the point in having you all?
Those were the jingles, Harry, and now we're here for the watch long segment of Bigger on the Inside. Harry, what episode are we doing today?
We didn't decide on a final name, but it's by Steve.
It is by Steve, and it's our last venture until next week when we do Legend of the Sea Devils.
This is our last retrospective watch-along segment for a while.
Harry, what did you think of this episode?
Thought it was pretty good. There were things I liked. For once, the thing that surprised me, I really enjoyed the timey-wimey stuff. I enjoyed how it all wrapped things up.
So I did as well.
Yeah, there were a few character bits and bobs. I feel like you might have an idea that I was a bit sus about. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better finales.
Harry, I've gone old school with my note taking this week, and I've made notes on almost everything. My first note is Harry. What's the story so far?
There's a crack that's sucking up time and is erasing loads of stuff from history, including a lot of Amy's life. Rory was erased, but now he's back as a centurion that's also a robot, and he killed Amy, and the stars went out, and all the monsters put the Doctor in the box because they thought that he was the reason that was happening. But I'm guessing it wasn't, and that's where we leave off.
Harry, there's no stars in the sky again. Have we done this already in Doctor Who?
I don't think so. Oh wait, it happened in the series 4 finale, didn't it? But that was because the planet was moved.
Okay.
This is because just actually I don't actually quite get why it happened here. The universe ended. That's it. The universe ended.
Then the Doctor turns up at young Amelia Pond's house. And he pops a letter through the door, telling her to go to the British Museum, and she just does.
Yeah, of course it's Amelia Pond.
Daleks in a museum, that looked quite cool. Like when you saw them all old in the jungle sort of thing, that looks good.
Yeah, they looked stony.
Yeah,
Stone Age Daleks.
they look stoned, yeah. And then the box opened and it's got old Amelia Pond, but played by...
Okay, Cad, here's where it gets interesting. And that's what happens.
It did get interesting, didn't it, Harry?
Yes, it did. That's surprising.
Last week, Rory shot.
Oh wait, but because wait, before that happens, then we got like the opening crawl, didn't we? That opening intro sequence. Aaron, what do you think of the series 5 intro?
Oh, no, I don't like it.
Aaron doesn't like
Yeah.
it either.
Finally, someone's on my side. It's god awful. It's so slow.
It's a bit dubsteppy.
Dubstep. It's an orchestra.
It's just a bit like, I don't know.
Is it a bum 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 bum? That's the bit Tim doesn't like.
I don't like the.
There's too much like background noise, and it sounds a bit dubsteppy, and like it should be in the club or something. That's how I feel.
I always find it's very slow. It's like, oh, here we go, the show. Here we go. I'm like, oh my god, it goes on and on forever. It's so boring.
Anyway, back to the episode.
You're outweighed on this one, Harry. You're wrong.
I don't think it's. I prefer the RTD intro, but
Okay.
I don't think it's bad.
The Doctor finds Amy dead in Rory's arms, but he doesn't really seem to care about that. But he's got a mop and a fez.
Well, it's timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah. Rory punches the Doctor.
Oh yeah. And he's like, I'm gonna wait. Or
Yeah.
we've not got to that bit yet.
No, we've not got
Yeah.
that bit. There's a funny line where the Doctor says, "Take that look off your plastic face."
Do you think that's funny?
Hang on, by the end of this, is Rory still an Auton, or is he a normal man now?
He's a normal man now because like everything reset, but he remembers being an Auton.
Right, okay. I'd like to see them return.
The Autons haven't returned properly, have they?
No. There's a Rory Williams Big Finish series, though, where he's the Centurion.
Is there?
Yeah, and he's
I mean,
just
there's a lot. There's a lot to cover, isn't there?
Yeah. Should we talk about that?
Yeah. So, Tim, if your girlfriend died and to save her, she had to be left in a box for 2,000 years, and you had the option to like jump forward 2,000 years to when she's out of it, would you do that, or would you just hang around and wait for 2,000 years?
Am I in the company of a smarter man who knows, maybe even, let's say, an alien from the future who knows that it's all going to be okay?
Yeah. You've been told that you don't need to wait, that it's like a super secure box, and you don't need to wait around. You can just jump forward to the future.
Just to make
it'll
this
be fine.
Just to make this like even more simple, is this like going to a hotel, putting my watch inside the hotel safe, locking it, then locking the door, then leaving the hotel with the security and going out for tea?
Yeah, only it's your girlfriend who just got killed, and she's slowly coming back to life.
But she's already dead.
Well, she almost killed, but she's going to be brought back to life by being put inside the safe. Yeah.
I love my girlfriend more than anybody in the world, more than anything in the world. I think she would be very understanding of the fact that I wouldn't particularly want to stand around for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah. Aaron, would you be understanding if I didn't want to stand around for 2,000 years waiting for you to slowly come back to life?
I think so. Yeah, it's a long time to wait, I suppose.
Well, here's what I wouldn't expect, and I said this to Aaron because we watched the episode together. I said to Aaron, like, I would expect you to wait for me if you knew I was going to be fine.
Yeah, the thing is, whoever's in the box is none the wiser.
Yeah, but you're not going to like. I said like, I'm not going to lie about it. When you come out of the box and you'll be like, "Oh, did you wait for me?" I wouldn't be like, "Yeah, sure did, babe."
That would have
waited.
That would have been funny if the box opened and you just saw Rory going, "Oh shit!" and he runs up to the box, and the box opens and he's like, "Phew, at last you're back. You've been waiting ages." And he like gets a hero's welcome, but he literally just like only been there about 5 minutes.
Yeah. But to be fair, when she does get out of the box, he isn't there, is he? He's in a different room, dressed as a security guard.
Why? Why did he decide to dress as a security guard now? But when it was World War II, he thought, no, I'm still going to go with this Roman look.
Because all the navy coats had been taken. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. I think he's. And then there's that bit where it's at the wedding and then the doctor appears and Amy, like, in front of her friends and family and her new husband, tries to make out with the doctor by saying, "You can certainly kiss the bride." And I was like,
Yeah,
this
that
is
was the
weird.
other bit where I was like, ugh. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I felt that was a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Is Amy just incapable of having a normal, like, friendship with a man?
Perhaps. Harry, there were certain things in this episode where I thought they should have done different things.
Like
one of
what?
one of them was I thought, what if the Doctor did just stay in a different dimension? And you could have done a very nice soft reboot of the show with introduced a lot of new characters. And if you wanted to bring monsters back, you could say that they came through the crack or something like that. It would have been just a nice way of like a very soft reboot and refresh with lots of new monsters. So you wouldn't.
That's basically what the crack did. Like the crack kind of erased the Daleks from people's memories, didn't they? Like, because when Daleks come back in modern day, no one knows what they are in like Chibanall era, and that's because of the crack.
That's true. I also thought that this would have been a great one and done for Amy and Rory. If this was just their only series, I think it would have been really well done.
Yeah.
Like when
would you prefer that if they just went off to live their own happy married life now?
I think
because now Amy's got, because it would make sense because Amy's got everything. You know, she was clearly feeling unfulfilled in her life, but that was because so much of her life had been erased by the crack. Whereas now she's a full, complete life. So,
yeah,
in theory, I mean, she doesn't really need the Doctor anymore.
Yeah, like she gets her mum and dad back, and then she never goes back to see them again.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't. Like, whenever it returns back to modern day in future series, it's Amy and Rory living in their own house. And the only recurring family member is Rory's dad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a great character, played by Mark Williamson?
Yeah. It's Ron's dad, right?
It is. It's Father Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah. Yeah, I think it should have been one and done, because then it would have been almost like going back to Classic Who, like the Third Doctor and Jo Grant when she gets married and the Doctor just gently walks away from the wedding and leaves her to get married and he never says goodbye. I feel like this would have been very similar to that, but it would have been quite a happy ending almost. Because I feel like the last shot should have been when the Doctor runs up into the TARDIS in his tuxedo and he dances around and he flicks a few console buttons and he should have disappeared. I thought that was going to be the ending, but then maybe Rory come back in and they're like, bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing we haven't talked about yet in this episode is River Song. River Song's in it a lot, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, she's in it. Yeah, that's good to see her back.
I really like River in this episode.
Yeah. It's so obvious by this point that she's going to be the Doctor's wife, isn't it?
I mean, they've alluded to it at least 2 or 3 times. I think we're meant to just assume, right?
Because he even says, like, are you married? She says, yeah. And he goes, would you say yes to being married or marrying me? She says, yes. So there you go. So it's obvious that who this character's going to be.
I was asked, what do you think? Because I never asked it. What do you think of River's Song and the Doctor's relationship? Do you think, like, do you buy it?
I do, yeah. I buy it more than Tennant River.
Really? That's interesting.
I think because Matt Smith looks old.
What was that? Sorry, say that again.
Matt Smith looks like an old person, if you know what I mean. He looks more aged than David Tennant does, even though he's younger than David Tennant.
Yes, and no. I remember. I think it's entirely in his acting, because I remember when he first was cast. I remember I watched that panel recently from the 50th of all the classic Doctors, where they're like, no, you can't cast a 12-year-old as the Doctor. But then you watch him, and he performs in a way that makes you believe he's 1,000 years old. Like, you really believe that with the 11th Doctor more so than perhaps any other incarnation.
No, yeah, I agree.
There's an age behind his eyes. He's an old soul.
Oh, I don't know why. I know you said that very sweetly there, Harold.
Oh, thank you. I'm a sweet guy.
He is a sweet guy. Harry, anything else about this episode that you want to say before we wrap it up in a nice bow and put it under the stairs and never visit it ever again?
The fez.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
fez?
Are you looking forward to seeing Matt Smith wear a fez again in the 60th?
Do you think he'll come back in the 60th in a fez?
He'll wear a fez at some point.
Yeah. It's kind of, I feel like if you're going to bring Matt Smith back, you kind of have to do, I mean, obviously he'll be wearing a bow tie, but you kind of have to do the fez bit. You don't have to do the fish fingers and custard bit.
No. I love the idea of the idea of it being a deleted scene that they keep in where Matt Smith, when the 11th Doctor goes to put a fez on the 9th Doctor, but it's Christopher Eccleston snaps out of camera and goes, "You ain't putting that fucking thing on my head, boy."
Well, because like the 9th Doctor doesn't have any kind of, for lack of a better word, gimmick clothing.
Could you just say, as the 9th Doctor for the last, because you haven't done it yet, just say, "You ain't putting that on my head, on my fucking head."
Sorry, I need to get back. You ain't putting that thing on my fucking head.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it'd be great.
Back. Oh, sorry. Oh, you don't want any more. That's all the Chris you want.
No, go on, do a bit more. Do a bit more.
I can't. No, I'm done. No, the moment's passed.
Harry, it's time for the quiz.
You, not me. I hate being patient. Patience is for wimps.
Oh, we're actually doing the quiz. Okay, let's go.
Quite
Can Erin help me if she remembers?
Okay, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You can only use Erin once.
Okay.
How many years in the future is the 11th hour set from the Big Bang? I'll give you it if you can get it within the hundreds.
Which I would say, is it not 2,000 years? Is that wrong?
I'm not going to give you it. It's 1,894. Young Amelia Pond, she names her auntie in it. What's she called?
Is it like Liv or something?
It's Aunt Shannon.
Shannon. Oh, okay.
Amy knocks over an animal in the museum. She turns around to apologize to that animal. What is the animal?
Okay, let's see. Erin, do you remember this? I feel like it
was in the jungle bit.
Okay. What animals are in the jungle? Monkey. Is it a monkey?
It's a penguin.
I was thinking penguin. But then Erin said,
I don't know.
If Erin wasn't here, I would have said penguin.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
can I get the point?
No. What is the name of Amy's father?
Oh, I didn't realize there were going to be more questions. Clive.
It's Augustus Pond.
Oh God, it was Augustus.
Final question, Harry. What song does the Doctor dance to at Rory and Amy's wedding?
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yes, well done. You got one.
And of course, I get the one that's about Queen. Of course, I do.
Yeah.
Because I made a mental note of it because I was like, Tim's going to ask that in the quiz.
Harry, because this is our final, watch along. I did some quick maths. I worked out that over the last year and 8 months, we have watched 73 episodes of Doctor Who, which comes to 3,284 minutes, 54.75 hours. That's the equivalent of cooking 219 boxes of fish fingers in a row, or listening to Doctor in Distress 950 times. We've seen 3 different Doctors fly the TARDIS, 18 different companions. We've gathered over 1,400 subscribers and interviewed 16 different people about their involvement in Doctor Who, from directors, writers, actors, and even body doubles. Blah, blah, blah. It isn't the end of the podcast, though, is it, Harry? Do you want to talk about what we're going to do next?
No, it's not. The podcast is going to take a bit of a rebrand. It's still going to be called Bigger on the Inside, and it's still going to be, I want to say it's still going to be Doctor Who led. So we will still
it's going to be like 60% Doctor Who now.
Yeah, we'll still talk about Doctor Who every week, and I know that's the content most people come for. We'll still get that, but we are going to expand. We're already kind of expanding into a more general pop culture film discussion space. We're dropping a watch along just because I feel like, especially this recent series, we're starting to feel the fatigue of that. So we will still do watch along segments, but we'll kind of do them as they come for special occasions, anniversaries, holiday specials, that kind of thing. So don't worry, most people who come to Be On The Inside for the core Doctor Who news, you're still getting that. We're just going to expand a bit to more general discussions about things because we like stuff other than Doctor Who.
Yeah, like we sometimes talk about stuff in the recommend section, which we'll get to in a second, but sometimes we can't fit it all in.
Yeah, we can't.
Talking about Harry,
much good stuff.
What do you want to recommend this week?
Before I go, I just want to tell you, you were fantastic.
Ooh, I recommend. Last time did I recommend Amelie? I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm gonna recommend another film that I wait. Did I recommend Boiling Point as well last week?
Don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna recommend that. It was a film I watched the same day or the day before Amelie. It was a film called Boiling Point. It's on Netflix. It stars Stephen Graham as the head chef in a restaurant. It's all filmed quite like Birdman or 1917 in one continuous shot. It takes place across one evening in a restaurant. And it's just one of the most tightly written things I've ever watched. It's like it fits so much in, but it's filmed and written and performed in a way that feels so naturalistic. Like you're just a guy following this restaurant staff around. It's really good. It's quite stressful. It touches on like a couple of like heavy, serious themes, but it has a real sense of humor about it as well. Stephen Graham is an incredible actor. I don't think I've seen him in anything where he's not absolutely captivating, but he's also supported by an incredible cast. Like he's not like the standout. Everyone is really good, and it is really, really good. It's just a great film. It's like quality, peak film writing, directing. It's just a great film.
Ah, lovely stuff. Harry, I'm going to recommend, I spoke about it very briefly a second ago, earlier on when I spoke about stuff looking like it's on Netflix. I'm going to recommend Hard Sell. That's H-A-R-D.
That's a new Catherine Tate thing, right?
It is. I started watching it this afternoon. I'm 2 episodes in, and it is very, very funny.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
cool.
I'm watching it on my own at the moment, and I'm laughing out loud.
That's rare. That is rare.
It basically it's a combination of The Office extras, the Catherine Tate show. A lot of Catherine Tate stuff in there. You will notice a lot of comparisons, especially with like the main character she plays, to Nellie, who she played in The American Office. And you can see where she's taking influence from that. There's a Tim character. There's a lot of like type of characters you expect to see in something like The Office or Park and Recreations. But it is really funny. There's a scene where Catherine Tate plays a male security guard at the prison, and it's a female prison, and as all the prisoners come out, he labels all the nicknames they've got and basically says it's a say what you see round. So like all these people what's out, he's like, this is Thick as Shih Tzu, this is Lazy Susan, this is Susan without an E, this is Chinese Sue, this is Claire with a hat, this is Claire without a hat. And it just goes on, and it is very funny. It is very well filmed. It took a while for me to settle into because it's sort of shot half mockumentary style, and the other half is shot like a sitcom, so like a modern sitcom, with like stuff like Fleabag. So there's a lot of cinematic stuff in there, but then there is also a lot of mockumentary stuff, and I think that's where its downfall is really. Is the mockumentary stuff is too cinematic.
Right. Yeah.
Like they'll be doing a talking head. And like the background is like perfectly blared, and they're all very well lit. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, what I'm used to seeing, I kind of want it to be sat behind a desk sort of thing. But I guess they kind of also want to make it separate from stuff like The Office. So I get why they've maybe chosen to follow more of a Netflix branding option. But it is really good.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode. I wasn't 100%. The second episode, I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Harold, that's everything. Do you want to do the end of the show stuff?
Yeah. So we're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Those are the main ones. You can also listen to us on Acasts. No, not anymore. Not Acasts anymore, right?
No. Well, we forgot to say, what I might actually start doing is uploading the full podcast to Spotify and only uploading the clips to YouTube. because
Okay.
because to render the full hour and a half for YouTube takes about another hour, so it takes a long time.
Wow.
And so I feel like uploading the clips to YouTube's great, and then from there, if people want to hear more, they can go to Spotify and listen to it all there. Or Anchor.
Okay, interesting approach. Cool beans.
Yeah. Well, that's everything. So thanks very much for listening, everybody. And we'll be back next week with new logo, new opening titles, new theme tune, all that cool stuff.
I didn't even know we're getting a new theme tune. That's exciting.
It's all Doctor Who at the moment, isn't it, Harry? We need a new one.
Yeah, totally.
I'll actually tell you about it off there. How excited. So I'll say goodbye.
Right.
Bye, everybody. Harry, do you want to give us one last goodbye?
Bye-bye.